Coming to you live from the Pacific Northwest and rainy, windy Oregon. Yeah, it's been raining a lot the last 24 hours. Wind extremely just crazy, nonstop. I figured I'd do an East Coast stream, see if my East Coast buddies will come up. I sent a few of them a little link and heads up that I was going to go live tonight. But yeah, just wanted to see if anybody out there in the eastern part of the country has anything to say or they want to get up and talk about anything. Yeah, I was watching some of the trucker thing today going through Oklahoma, man, and then into Missouri, or they left from Oklahoma and went into Missouri. Missouri turned out big time. I think they're not too far out of St. Louis now on I-44, and they're going to be heading up to, I think they're going through St. Louis all the way on their way to Indianapolis. And I heard on the radio today, it's a local 101.1 KXL, Top DR News at 12. They said, local reporters said that there was a trucker convoy leaving in the next couple of days from Oregon, and they were going to head east on I-84. They didn't say where it was going to start, of course, but it was going to stop in Pendleton, and then meet up with truckers in Boise, and then I think the due date for them to be outside of Washington D.C. is the 12th of March. So looks like Oregon and Idaho are on board, and yeah, it'll be a good thing. I just waiting to find out where they're leaving from. I don't know if they're leaving from Salem or somewhere further south, or they're leaving from Portland, or maybe Hood River, or somewhere on I-84. I just don't know yet. So I'll keep my eye on that. That'll be cool. Because yesterday I think it was 7,000 cars and 30 miles long. And then one of my viewers, above the 49th parallel or something like that, he's up in Canada. He said they've got more trucks that are supposedly, I haven't got confirmation yet, up there in Canada, more trucks are heading toward the capital. So I'll wait and see on that too. So, but I'll chill here, see if anybody. Oh, Scarecrow's here. Okay, hang on a second. I just check comments. Yeah, it's been freaking really shitty, man, here in Oregon after 2 weeks of no rain. It just pouring down rain. Last night I couldn't really sleep much. Wind was like, God, it was sustained 20, 21, gust 30 all night long and all morning long. And the wind, I mean, it's still blowing, but still raining, but not as much as yesterday. But yeah. And this whole Ukraine thing, I was watching, I follow a guy. He's a CW Lemoyne. He was an F-16 pilot in the Air Force Reserve back in last decade. He did, I think, 2 tours in Iraq. And then he had some kind of health problem, and they took him off flight status. So his term was up. He went and joined the Navy. Navy gave him a waiver for his health issue, and he flew F-18s. And then after that tour was up, he went back to the Air Force Reserve, and he was flying T-38s, aggressors out of Eglin, and against F-22 Raptors and stuff. So I mean, the guy, him and his buddies, I mean, they know stuff, and they were breaking down some of the video footage, and he's talking about what's going on in Ukraine, and it's in my opinion, it's a fog of war. We're not going to know exactly what happened. I mean, if anybody's as old as me, they, and you keep track of, aviation like I do, but back in the Yom Kippur War and the 6-Day War, the Israelis said they, shot down, so many Egyptian planes, and the Egyptians said they shot so many planes down, and it comes out once you find the truth out, that's not exactly what happened at the time, but yeah, I'm an aviation nerd, with a dad pilot and little brother who was a pilot and still a pilot, so I just never got there. But yeah, hopefully this Oregon convoy takes off in the next couple of days, and I mean the local media isn't reporting anything on TV or their stations' websites, and I checked KMOV out of St. Louis. I remember that call sign because I lived outside of St. Louis for, geez, what was that? 5 years, and they had like a little blurb, and they said it was all about mandates. And actually, I watched. It's like it's not about mandates. It's about everything that's going on with everybody's liberties and shit, and emergency orders, which our governor still has emergency powers here in Oregon until April 1st. So we're going to see. And she did roll our mask mandates back a week again. So, you know, it just makes no sense. Oh, we got a guest. Hang on a second. Hopefully, guys, my phone doesn't die tonight. I got my ice pack here. Yeah. So, hey, Scarecrow, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Bill. Thanks for coming on early.
Yeah. No problem, man. I told you I would.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Cool. Yeah. So, what do you think about all this stuff? I mean, like Putin saying, nuclear war, and I've heard, our DEFCON went up, or yeah, up. I think it's up. It's a more heightened
Ours?
state, and then the White House comes out and says it's not. Because I mean, I got that from two really good, reliable sources. So,
Right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know why we're involved in that.
yeah. I don't either. I mean, I, I've been looking more into the history of Ukraine, and more especially World War II. What was it, Stalingrad? I think that was in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians ain't gonna just sit down. They can fight it themselves. If we already gave them javelins and stuff, and Trudeau came out today and said they were sending a bunch of weapons over there too. Which I was like, holy shit,
Huh.
Canada's sending
What's
weapons there?
Canada? Wow,
Yeah,
there goes their taxes.
yeah, right, exactly. But yeah, what's your thoughts on it, man?
I think Europe should take care of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to
The
agree with you.
Europe,
I'd let Poland,
the
Romania,
European Union.
Germany. It looks like France is becoming a little bit more tough, but you know, they say they're going to send aid in. It's like, how are you going to do that? And they want a
Huh?
no-fly zone. Like, how are you going to get transport planes in there? And what if the Russians, bomb the rail lines and the roads and stuff? How are you going to get aid and weapons to these people? I mean, it makes no sense. And from what I've seen today, I mean, just it's fog of war kind of crap. Nobody really knows what's
Right.
going on. The Russians, it looks like they thought they were going to have an easy time, but some of the stuff I'm seeing and hearing is could be true. It may not be. That the
I
Ukrainian
see.
people are up, man.
I see. Switzerland here is cutting off the money.
Yeah. Well.
Did you
Yeah.
hear
Well,
about that?
everybody's cutting them off of the Swift Bank, which is it's yeah. If you guys don't know what Swift Bank is, just go look it up. I don't have time to try to discuss.
Right.
Let James do that, right? James would be all over that one.
Yeah, he knows all about money.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, that's pretty crazy stuff going on. Gets everybody off from Biden's back over here, doesn't it?
yeah, it's total distraction, and then of course the trucker movement. I mean, I mean, from what I've seen, going through Texas is kind of, yeah, they had a turnout, but Oklahoma turned out really big, and Missouri was even, I think, bigger. And I saw some speeches tonight. Watch out for just a little bit, and luckily
Yeah.
I caught before they shut it down for the night. But yeah, it's all distractions, and I mean, Sleepy Joe's got his State of the Union here shortly, so
Tomorrow, right? You gonna
yeah.
watch that?
Yeah, I'll watch it. It'll probably be on TV. I may watch it on TV instead of my phone because um, maybe they won't show it. Who knows? Maybe he'll get up there and stumble, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we got to cut the feed to Days of Our Lives or some shit."
Yeah. Yeah, something pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll check in, not just for intel, but it's gonna be rough to.
Maybe maybe what maybe what's coming out there is an android. It's not really Biden.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm not gonna. Well, I guess so. My mom's like, "Is he a clone? Does he have a clone?" I'm like, I don't know. I mean, everybody said that about a bummer, you know.
Oh, choking. Okay. Sorry about that.
And then I heard today. I mean, you're up in that toward that area. I mean, I heard there's a main convoy that's starting too, so that'd be cool.
Are they all going to meet near DC?
Yeah. Well, the Freedom Convoy there that's in Missouri right now, they're not going into DC like they telegraphed that at the beginning. They said we're gonna, drive, through the streets and stuff, but no, they're not. But hey, I mean, one of the things, I don't want to, get into too much about Ukraine. I mean, we can, but yesterday, I think it was in Fairview, which is I want to say about 20 miles, or maybe not even 20 miles east off the Columbia River from Portland. There's like 1,000 people out there protesting for Ukraine, and it's like, and we can't get 1,000 people out at our state capital to frickin' boycott our governor. What the, it's like, what the frick, man? You
Wow.
know?
No. That's pretty sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs here, in Oregon. That's why, I really want to leave this year, and hate to do it, but it's
Yeah.
move
You
on.
going to South Dakota?
I'll probably head to Washington for a short time and then figure out from there because um, I don't know. Mainly right now, I'm trying to figure out how I can get rid of my house because I don't. I mean, I don't need this 4-bedroom house with me and my dog and what little I own.
Wow. Right.
After
How's this going for big money out there?
what's that? Yeah. Oh, and yeah, in my
Uh,
area. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah, here too.
Yep.
They're
And I
paying
don't.
like 100. Let's just use this for a figure. You ask 300,000 for the house, and it sells for 400.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of. I mean, it's more up in the Portland area where people are getting way over. But in my little town, uh, I mean, I didn't pay much for my house. 17 years. It's gonna be 17 years this year. But all the houses were pretty much the same price when I bought it. And across the street, catty cornered me. People over there sold their house. I don't know, like 2 months ago for shit almost $400,000, and I'm like, seriously, almost $400,000 for a house out here in Podunk, Oregon. We're close to I-5. That's about, we don't have a big town here. We got a store and a
Yeah.
city hall and a little, kind of Mexican bar and a post office and a Dollar General. That's it. I mean, there's nothing else here.
What's the population?
It's about 2,000, maybe a little over 2,000.
Oh, small town.
Yeah, I mean we're surrounded by farms. We're like in
Yep.
farmland,
Yep.
and we're like a city in between I
Just like it
five.
is where I live.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean
Same
there's no
here.
forest around here. It's flat farmland. I mean I like it because I got good views of the mountains in the summertime, and it's a little
Yep.
bit more temperate than getting closer to the mountains because then you got to deal with usually in the wintertime it snows up about 500 feet and above, and then you got to
Yeah.
drive a long way anywhere to commute for work or get to a grocery store or something like that.
Yep. I
And then
live
the
like
price
that here.
price of gas, I don't know what it is up there, man, but it's
Oh,
409
it
the other
went
day. I don't know if it's
it,
gone up.
it went way up. It went way up this week. It's 369 average here now.
Wow, I'd pay that.
Gee. Well, 2 weeks ago it was only $3.
Oh wow, I think my mom said it was like 339 or 340 something back there in Ohio the other day. But yeah, it's amazing how, I mean, of course, we got all the different regulations and shit out here, and we don't have a refinery in Oregon. They shut those down all years ago. We got to truck our gas in from um, California or Anacortes, Washington, which is I think that's the last refinery up there on the up there in Washington.
Oh,
And then it's I was surprised to see they're gonna shut down oil imports, and it's like, yeah, we should do the same thing, but we should have been drilling and been energy independent. Then we could have just shut his ass off and said, I don't care.
right?
Hey, let's sell Russia some and make some money off of Russia.
Just a year ago, we were doing that.
Yeah, I know. But it's the whole
We
thing.
weren't importing any.
They're talking to OPEC and OPEC plus, and we're gonna try to. It's like I really don't feel bad for the Europeans either, because it's the green economy is what has killed all this shit, right? And Germany shut
Yeah.
down a lot of their nuclear power plants, and it's like, well, then you're dependent on Russia, for your natural gas and your oil. So, hey, you guys made that choice, But I think the whole green movement to get us off oil is just kicking our ass right now. People don't think about everything that's fucking made out of plastic, right? I mean,
Right. It certainly is not well thought out either.
no, I know. Not to mention the batteries and shit like that. They're just, and then the rare earths for everybody's cell phones and shit coming out of China, and I
Right.
think some of them come out of Africa and crap, and nobody ever thinks about that. But
This is just making the economy better for China, going that route.
yeah. Well, I think the trucker movement there. I mean, I've heard a lot of people. It's kind of like the same as what's up there in Canada. It's not just about mandates. It's about emergency powers. It's about World Economic Forum. It's about surveillance, state,
Yeah.
credit score. I mean, you name it. I mean, what they're basically against the 2030 agenda. From what
Yeah.
I get.
Hey, James is on.
Uh-oh. What's up, gents? Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, James? Come on.
California.
Come on up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you probably live up there. I mean, where you live, it's probably pretty quiet, and
Yes, very quiet.
Yeah.
We got 14 inches of snow.
Wow.
Before yesterday.
Jeez.
And in the last few nights, it's been down about 4 below zero.
Hey, how are those illegals doing there near Mount Washington?
Honestly, Bill, I don't know how they're doing. I just know they got put there.
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine there. He took photos of the buses full of Haitians.
Yeah.
Went up to
Well,
talk to
see,
them.
that's the other thing with Ukraine and the trucker convoy, and it just distracts on. Hey, all these illegal aliens are still crossing our border en masse and getting a free lawyer and a free plane ticket to somewhere.
Right. Right.
Like I wish a lot, because a lot of Canadians are trying to get to the United States right now. And it's like,
yeah, they gotta fly to Mexico.
Right. Yeah. Charter a boat. Get to British Columbia, charter a boat down there to, Teal. Outside of like San Diego or something. South of San Diego, in northern Mexico, and just creep across the border and say, hey, no hables English.
Right.
I identify as a Guatemalan. Yes, I need a
Jamaican
lawyer.
bobsled team.
Because you can identify as anything these days, right?
That's right. Identify
or,
yourself as a woman and go to the woman's restroom.
The only streamer up there that's got, like, I don't know what the cell coverage is or what. I mean, there's quite a few streamers that they cut out all the time, and Oreo Express cuts out every once in a while. But I think when he started the journey, he says, "Yeah, even though we're driving a 4-door sedan, we identify as a 18-wheeler." And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Why not?
Yeah. But man, I wish I was still living back where I lived in St. Louis because it was right off of I-70. Man, I'd be out there for sure.
Oh, yeah, Missouri's a nice place. I've been there.
Yeah, we used to go to well, of course, Six Flags and St. Louis back in the old days with the turf field at the old Busch Stadium. And God, every time relatives visit us, we had to go to the Arch. So I've been up the Arch. I don't probably dozen plus times. You know,
Oh, nice. Yep.
it was always it. You know, when you live someplace and you relatives show up and you take them to the same damn place all the time, Arch, and it's like I don't even want to go. I've seen this thing, been up there a bunch of times. It's boring. As a teenager, like let me stay home.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I
yeah, I don't know. I
understand
mean,
that.
it looks like Indiana's going to turn out pretty good, and you know, I think they're going to go through I-70 through Indianapolis because I know that route from St. Louis to down
Hmm.
I-70, then up I-75 to up where my hometown's at up in Ohio. But
So,
yeah, I'm
when
glad.
when
Go
they
ahead.
get there, Bill, are they going to all just stop and stay there a while, or do you know the plan?
Right now, they're stopping in these little towns, and they're you know, like today, they stopped in shit. What was it called? Oh, it's Cuba, Missouri, and I never heard of Cuba, Missouri, but it's right off of I-44. Um,
Oh,
but they were out there. Same thing as the Canadian truckers. There was free food for anybody who needed it. People were giving truckers bags of supplies and stuff. I mean, it was like really cool. I mean,
nice. That's good.
that's the heartland, man. It's not like
Yep.
that would never happen here in Oregon, Washington, or California for sure. You know,
Hmm.
and so I don't know if they're going to stop in Illinois somewhere because from St. Louis to Indianapolis is about 4 hours if I remember right.
Right. But
They've
I
been
mean, when when they get down to the outside of Washington, are they going to stop there and
yeah, they're
park your trucks like they did in Ottawa?
I don't think they're going to say, but they're not going into DC. Maybe they're just going to drive around the Beltway and just you know, because right now, I mean, some of these guys drive way ahead of the convoy and then get up on an overpass, and it's like 10, 15 minutes of trucks and cars and motorcycles and RVs and I mean, box trucks and everything just driving in the right lane, just car after car, truck after truck. And,
Yeah.
it's, 30, well, from what the Oklahoma State Police said yesterday, it's 30 miles long. It's like, yeah, cool.
Oh,
But, we got the backup coming from Oregon at some point here this week. And from what I
yeah.
heard, Hexafu said there's something going on in Ohio. They're still looking into it for me. So maybe Ohio's going to drive down, 75 to 70 and meet them. I don't know, if they're going to drive through Ohio or not quite yet. But I think it's all their stuff's on thepeoplesconvoy.org. I checked it out the other day, but, they could change where they're going to stop. But yeah, I mean, from every place they've stopped overnight has been really good. I mean, they're pumping a ton of money into these small local towns, which I think is really cool. Buying,
Yeah.
buying, from the local truck stops and the local candy stores and the just I mean, I don't know if you ever been through Middle America, but there's like especially Route 66. Used to be awesome, and there's all these like
I've been out on US 80 all the way to California.
yeah, there's all these little tiny, you know, places that have these big stores, because they're on a major thoroughway, and you got to
Yeah.
stop there, man. It's like
Yep.
I think when we drove out here from Illinois in '87, we stopped at I remember. I mean, we stopped at a lot of places, but stopping at Wall Drug there in South Dakota, man, that was like the thing
Hmm.
you had to do is stop at Wall Drug.
Yeah. It sounds
It,
just like Bike Week out here.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see.
the
Oklahoma,
motorcycles from all over the country show up.
yeah. Mouthpiece. Yeah, Oklahoma really put it on. Yeah, they kicked ass yesterday. It was awesome. I don't know if you guys saw that drone footage I put up there or put in our.
I,
Uh,
I watched it.
That's pretty cool. I wish more guys would be out there with drones, but um, we'll see. We'll
Yeah, you
see.
got one. I'll get one of those someday.
I wish I
I'm
knew a
always
truck.
afraid to buy a drone. I'm afraid I'm going to crash into one of the trees around here.
Yeah, yeah, man. I had my older brother was into RC airplanes, and I bought an RC plane years ago. It was electric, and I got it, and the
Yeah.
battery wouldn't fit. And I mean, it's just a nightmare. I mean, it was a cheap one. And first time I flew it, it was at work. I was like, I'm on lunch. I'm gonna go fly this thing, and the wind was just a little bit too much, and it ran into a. It got blown into a blackberry bush, and I had to crawl in there and got all scratched up and shit and pull it out.
Wow.
Oh, and
Oh,
I had one of
yeah.
those UFOs. It's like a globe, indoor kind of thing. I used to take that to work and play around with it,
Yeah.
but I don't know how easy it is to fly one of those four-bladed drones. I think you gotta,
I've
you
never tried it.
hook it up to your phone. Some of these guys, it's like there's the other guys I watch that fly their drone and they just hit the home button on their phone and the drone just comes back to where they're at. That's like, well, that's cool, man. You don't have to
Yeah.
fly it back. You just hit home and it comes back to you.
I
But
bet that's very costly.
yeah, I'm sure it is. But those are the guys that are YouTubers that have millions of subscribers, and that's all they do is
Yeah.
4K drone footage and shit like that. Which is
Oh,
cool. I like,
nice. Yeah.
but
You can see a lot of wildlife with one of those.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was hoping to get my New York buddy up here tonight, but looks like he didn't reply to my text. I sent him the link, but
Yeah, I don't know what
I
happened to him.
sent one to a person down in the south.
How about
Um,
Watcher? I haven't heard from him in a while.
no, I haven't either. I didn't send it to him. I forgot.
Well, you had it on Signal, so he would have got it.
Oh yeah. That's true. I didn't think about that. Let's see, Mouthpiece Media. Don't know if you guys heard it, but the president of Ukraine requested to join the EU today. Yeah, I heard that. I think early this morning because I got up early because I couldn't sleep anyway, so I just got up and I caught that. And I don't know. We'll see. That's gonna piss
That's
Putin
his
off.
own. Yeah, but that's his only chance of survival.
Yeah. And the thing about it, they're calling Ukraine Nazi, or he is calling them Nazis and stuff. And Zelensky's a Jew, man. His family, some of his family died in the Holocaust, man. So it's like, how do you
Oh,
call a Jew a Nazi? I don't get it, But I'm not an expert on Ukraine. Never claimed to be. Probably never will be. Um, you know,
yeah. I don't know a lot about it either, but I know where it
I
is,
know it's
though. It's right on the
pretty,
Black Sea.
pretty irrelevant until Russia took over Crimea in 2014, where Obama did nothing but send MREs and blankets, and then
Yeah.
now,
I
I
wonder
mean,
how.
as though I'd
I wonder
never.
how much money Obama got for that.
What's that?
I wonder how much money Obama got for that.
Yeah, well, let's not forget, Mr. Joe Biden, telling Ukraine to fire that prosecutor that was looking into Burisma. Remember
Right.
that? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I mean, from
Yep.
what I understand, I mean, Ukraine's probably just as corrupt, if not more, than Russia. But I don't think Zelensky's. I mean, he's a former comedian. I mean, he's not a
Hmm.
ruthless ex KGB guy like Putin is.
Right.
I don't know. I'll just sit back and watch it play out, man. I got no control over it right now.
Nope.
I'm too old to go join the military. So not that I would, because it's all woke and shit now. And maybe that's what's wrong with the Russian army. Why they
I
can't
wonder-
take.
Oh, man. That's scary, huh? You're in a foxhole with a guy on in a dress.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I got out before Clinton. Right before, or no, it was during the '92 election, and my brother, older brother, was in the Air Force at the time. After Clinton got elected, he decided to not re-up. He's like, I don't want to be in the military. This jackass is our, commander in chief. So he got out after 8 years.
Was your brother a pilot?
My younger brother is. My older brother died in 2020, unfortunately. But no, yeah, my little brother.
I remember your older brother passing away, but was he a pilot in the Air Force?
Yeah, no, my little brother flew C-17s for quite a while, and then he got stationed at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois, which is outside of St. Louis, east of St. Louis. That's kind of where we used to go when we lived there for go to the PX and stuff. But he flew C-21 Learjets, for Air Mobility Command. The generals and shit, kind of like what my dad did in the Army. He was part of, my dad was part of the Yukon Flight Detachment. So the 3 and 4 star generals, he flew them all over Europe and shit, and in a Beech 200 C-12 turboprop. But but no, my older brother, my younger brother retired because after he went back up to McChord and was flying C-17s again, and then he retired after 21 years this past summer. Now he flies for a major airline. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. So
nice.
Making the big bucks,
That's important. You need a lot of money to live today.
Okay, Mouthpiece. What do you guys think will be the ending outcome of the convoy? To be honest with you, I have the feeling that all this patriotism, kind of like back in 2010, is it's gonna sustain for a little while, and then it's just gonna peter out. I hate to say it, because Americans haven't shown that they can have a sustained movement of conservatism and patriotism and America first. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. That's just what I get out of it. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's cool to watch. It makes you feel good, but in the end, I don't think anything's going to happen. With cops or military police or National Guard or anything like that. I just don't think that's going to happen. But I just think it's going to be by the summertime. I think it's going to be over.
If they don't do it like they did it in Ottawa, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard like
it's going to accomplish nothing.
Right. Well, they're still moving up there.
Unless they set up a blockade and stay there.
Right. Well, and they called for everybody sick out last week, and I don't know if anybody actually did the sick out and just didn't go to work. I mean, that's what it's going to take is hit these, and it just pisses me off that people still keep buying from Amazon and Facebook, and they're on TikTok, and it's like you guys are feeding the freaking beast kicking your ass, man. Come on, fuck. Sorry.
No, I agree.
And I'm sorry if I offended anybody that likes Amazon. Tough shit. I dealt with them for fucking 10 years. They're a fucking nightmare as a distributor to deal with, or a reseller who markets their platform. Total fucking bullshit. You always get screwed by them. And I drove past. I went up there yesterday. I went past the Amazon building, and they got I thought it was just going to be like a big cube, but they got all this metal and shit that's out front now that's going up, and I don't know. Maybe they'll get done by the end of the summer or something, but they're making a lot of movement on that, and I really don't want to be here by the time they get that up and running because it's really going to screw up traffic in my area.
Well, their buildings don't do too good at tornadoes. You saw that last month. Did you see that Amazon building collapse on the people?
Yeah, but hey, we don't have any tornadoes out here. I mean, we may get an EF0 or EF1 every once in a while, but there's no big tornadoes out here. And the way that building's going up, I mean, it's all freaking steel, man, all steel. Just big skeleton right now. It's all freaking, I'd say they're 2-3 foot wide beams easily.
Oh,
Huge.
okay.
Yeah.
Like a steel pole barn.
Yeah. It's like like the big skyscraper almost. It's
Yeah.
I think they added a layer to the top too.
Oh, Hexafoos is here.
Hey, Hexafoos, what's going on, buddy? Just don't joke about Bezos' D ship. Yeah.
Drop ship.
The phallic ship. Yeah, the phallic starship. Yeah. Hang on. Hey, Scarecrow. Say your mind. I
Hmm?
gotta let the dog out. He's freaking whining. So, hang on a second. I'll be right
No
back.
problem.
All right.
Sure. Hey there, Hexafoos. Yes, that was me, Hexafoos. How's everything where you are?
Okay, sorry, man. He didn't want to go out in the wet grass. He hates wet grass. So I had to kick him out.
Oh, he's got to go.
Yeah, he always picks the times where I'm on a live stream to have to go potty. Come on, get up here.
He wants all your attention.
Yeah, I mean he's old now, so
Yeah.
follows me everywhere I go. But I guess that's why I got him. It's Ohio, so it's boring here. Hey, drive up to Cedar Point. When that opens, it won't be boring. Go up on the lake and do some perch and walleye fishing.
Yeah, I like fishing.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up fishing. When we'd go back to Ohio to visit, we'd go on the Tusain River. We'd go catfishing, and of course, my great uncle had a boat. He'd take us out and we'd do walleye fishing. And then my
Oh,
uncle
nice.
worked. He was a maintenance manager for a big rich condo place, and he's taken me to work with him when I went there by myself, and they had all these like freaking really expensive boats around the docks and stuff. But man, I used to go out there and just catch bass and rock bass and smallmouth bass all day long. It was like 8 hours of just catching fish. If you couldn't catch 10, 15 fish an hour, there's something wrong. I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, well, Lake Erie's a lot cleaner than it was back in the 70s, that's for sure. Well, the last
We
time
go
I
ice. We go ice fishing here.
What's that?
We go ice fishing.
Yeah, no thanks, man.
You don't do ice fishing?
No,
It's a
I
lot
never
of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. We go out on the ice there, and my wife brings a charcoal grill, and she gets that going. She cooks up all kinds of food.
Oh, that's right. You guys got sheds and stuff. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of people up in
Yeah.
Ohio have when Lake Erie freezes over, they pull their shanty out there, and they got a TV and a radio and heat
Yeah.
and all. Oh. What do you
Some,
catch when you go ice fishing? You catch I don't know what's up there. You guys got any pike up there, or walleye or bass or?
not around here, but we lake trout mostly.
Oh, okay. Hey, Debbie Carson, how you doing? Probably
Hey,
my first
Debbie.
forever. How's it going up north in the great state of Jay Inslee? That putz.
Boydley.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, all three governors basically put a squash on the mass all at the same time today. So, yeah, we'll see if they're
Yeah.
gonna, I don't know if independent school districts are gonna, I know some of them don't require it in Eastern Oregon, but I think the ones that did that, they lost state funding, which is, of course, that's how the government controls you. If you're dependent on the
Yeah.
state or federal funding. And then I had a guy here locally. He was talking about, well, I think it was last year they enacted a thing here in Oregon where any company that makes over $1 million, you get taxed. Which we do have an income tax in Oregon. That's it. Well, property taxes too, but you get, so if you make $1 million plus, but you net like zero, you still get taxed on that, 1 or 1.2 million. And so it
Wow.
looks like that generated a lot of revenue. But I mean, maybe that's why a lot of mid-sized businesses, because some of the businesses I worked for that were 10, 15 million, gross a year. And they're always going to the bank to get credit, revolving credit to keep the business running. And, I
Wow.
don't happen to like my last company. I think we were 15 or 20 million a year. And they had to pay that tax when I bet you the actual net profit
What
wasn't, jack shit.
what they're doing here? If you start a new business here, you don't pay taxes for the first 10 years.
That's cool. But you guys
That's how they
got an
bring.
income tax, don't you? And a sales tax?
No, no. All we have is property tax.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I saw that guy. I think his name's Don Huffines down in Texas. I guess the Texas primary is tomorrow, but he's pushing for. He's a billionaire, kind of like Trump, and he's not using any. He's using all his money to run for governor down there. He wants to completely ban, the property taxes in Texas. And from what I've heard, the guys in Texas that I watch, they own,
Wow.
5 acres or more, but they said their property taxes down in Texas are pretty freaking insane.
So what's the average tax in Texas? Did he say
No,
for
I
the
don't. I mean,
property?
I haven't really looked into it. I mean, but like, where I'm at,
Property taxes are high here.
yeah. Well, if you go up to Portland, I mean, I remember my first house I bought back in '95. I was right. Luckily, we bought it on the other side of the street from. We were in Portland, but we were in a different county.
Yeah.
So if I would have bought a house, a block down the street, my property taxes probably would have been double. And I think
Whoa.
back then, I think I was paying like maybe $1,200 a year, but no, in my house now,
Yeah.
it's well over $2,500 now a year. So
They have a business tax here, but I don't know what that is. Like I said, if you start a new business, the first 10 years you don't pay tax.
well, I mean that's cool. They do that here in Oregon. They, if you're Intel or there's a Boeing, I think it's they do manufacturing airplane parts. You know, they don't build the airplanes like they do up in Seattle. But if you're Intel, Nike, whatever, you know, you come to the state, they're gonna give you 10 years without paying taxes, you know, to entice you in, and then as soon as those 10 years is over, they just start hammering. You know, well, you know, these are major corporations that are worth, you know, probably
Yeah.
hundreds of billions of dollars anyway. So, but you know, a lot of our money here in Oregon comes from the federal government. You know,
Right.
so you're paying for, you know, all the pet projects here, and now they want to frickin' toll roads that we paid for, you know, 40 years ago, and you know, through Portland.
Whoa.
It's ridiculous. I mean, because we don't like tolls out here. I know they got them up in Seattle, but in Oregon, no toll roads, none.
That's good.
Because why should you pay for something that you already paid for? Your taxes already paid
Yeah.
for. You know, it's the
Right.
whole thing of the government just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and people just sit on their butts and go, "Oh yeah, 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 okay, I'm gonna get my, you know, eventually I'll get my, you know, $2,000 a month from the government. I'll own nothing and be happy. Yeah, cool. You know, jeez,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
They that's they they tax the people to death.
Yeah,
Oh God. That's why back years ago, you know, when people had they could have 5 or 6 kids and the mother didn't work.
right,
And the
exactly. I mean, that's, you
and
know,
the
when I
father
grew up,
had a brand new car.
right, when I grew up, you know, it was me and my two brothers, and you know, my dad flew. You know, he was in the army. He's a warrant officer. I mean, he didn't make a lot of money. Yeah, we lived on base sometimes, but sometimes we rented a house. You know, and my mom stayed home, and we always got the clothes we needed. We always had, you know, food in our mouth, and you know, we had okay
Yep.
cars, and you know, a truck, and then you know, had pets,
Right.
and you know, it was a happy time. You know, I mean, but that's, you know, that's back in the, you know, back in the late '70s and early, you know, or the mid '80s when Reagan was in, where you know,
Just like my parents. They had 6 kids. My father bought a brand new car every 3 years. As soon as it was paid for, he traded in, bought another brand new one.
right?
Owned a house.
I don't know how
My
my
mother didn't
grandparents.
work.
What's that?
And because they owned a nice house, and my father rented a cottage right on the lake every summer for 2 weeks with 6 kids and a month and a wife that didn't work.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a better job than I got.
Right. 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 Yeah. I mean, you know.
And he sent us to parochial school.
Oh, really?
He had to
Okay.
pay for that.
Cool. Well, 13 years out of my life was all on going to military schools, or you know, schools
Yeah.
on bases, and then when I lived in Illinois, I went to, you know, just a regular school because we lived. There was no army base there. My dad was flying out of a small detachment, ASCOM, out of Granite City, Illinois, and yeah, so we had to rent a house, and I went to, you know, got to a public school, and then of course, Washington, I went to my senior year at a public school. So, but I wouldn't change growing up. I'll tell you that, man. You know, I don't know how my
No.
grandparents did it. My grandfather, he had like 7 brothers and sisters. You know, through the Great Depression. You know, um,
Oh.
you know, I don't have no clue how their parents fed, you know, all these kids, man. You know,
Where did they live?
Ohio,
Okay. So
same place. My
they.
family still, a majority of my family still lives in the same
Mm-hmm.
town or the local area there in northern Ohio. Cousins and, you know, aunts, uncles, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's,
Nice.
you know, I was thinking about moving back there years ago, but it was like, man, I checked the job market back there, and I was like, geez. And then, yeah, rent's cheap, but houses were really cheap. But it's like, you know, God, you couldn't find a job over like $12 an hour, you know, 10 years ago. It's like, I'm not gonna
Oh.
move $12 an hour.
Well,
You know, now,
you're retired now, aren't you?
yeah, I mean, semi, you know, kind of semi retired. So. But I'm not one of these people who have to go out and buy a 55-inch TV when it comes out, and I don't, I don't. I got two cheap guitars, a 24-inch TV. I've got a lot of implements that throw lead projectiles, but other than that, not,
Gotta
not
have
much.
those.
Not much else. I don't need it. I got fishing equipment and camping equipment and shit
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I don't need all this buying a new car every 5 years, and I got to go get a
Oh,
$50,000 Escalade, or fifty
no.
thousand dollars. Yeah, no, not me.
My car's 20 years old.
Yeah, mine's it'll be 12 this year, and I had the longest I ever had a car was 13 years. A little Toyota Tercel, man. That thing, two door, got got even when it got old, it still got like 38 miles to the gallon, man.
Nice.
It was a good car. I mean, my car it's a 12. It's gonna be 12 years old this year. I don't even have 100,000 miles on it yet. Yeah, I think the longest trip I took was down to Travis Air Force Base, which was 10 and a half hours. That was a long time ago, and so
Yeah.
what was that? You know, 950,000 miles there, and same coming back. That was the longest trip I did in my car. But I hate freaking driving, because growing up, we've driven across the country. I can't imagine how many times. And I when we moved from St. Louis, or outside of St. Louis, to Washington, we had an '85 Camaro, and we're pulling a small U-Haul trailer. Because the government, they basically move your shit for you, your household goods and stuff. But I was like 17 at the time, and I'm sitting in the back seat with my little brother and my dog, and my knees, I'm like eating my knees all the way from St. Louis
Yeah. The Camaro. Gee.
to, to
The
to
back seat.
work. Yeah, man, it sucks sitting in the back of a Camaro, for a newer Camaro, for at the time, for that long of a trip. It just sucked. I hate driving.
Uh, oh, look at James put up.
Hang on a second. Let me get my glasses on. Um, which one? That one. And me and my
Yeah.
buddies over the nuns and priests crazy Catholic grade school. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard stories about that. I think I've heard many stories on that. It doesn't sound like fun, that's for sure. I don't know.
I
I'm
had
glad. I
I had to behave myself when I was in school.
What's that?
I had to behave myself when I was in school.
Yeah.
I My father would have killed me if I did anything like that.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. If you didn't bring home good grades, boy, woo, you
Yep.
get in trouble.
You have to have a good education. I can see why now.
Oh yeah. I mean, geez, I don't even think they teach history or economics 101. And I remember when I moved from Illinois to Washington State my senior year. They made me take it was a requirement to graduate, but I had to take Washington State history for a semester, and so I was shoved in with a bunch of freshmen, and I'm like, this sucks. What do I just
Hmm.
moved to Washington. Now I got to learn about Washington history, because we did do that in Illinois too, I guess. But we had shop, and you could take your freshman year. You could take, if you got into shop, you did metal shop, you did wood shop, drafting, and then
Yep.
wood shop. And then you could pick which one you wanted to, kind of like a trade thing. If you wanted to, learn
Right.
about house wiring and all that shit, you could, take electronics. Or if you wanted to be a drafting, drafter, you took drafting the next 3 years. Or, machine shop with, welding, arc
Yep.
welding,
We did. I took
and
all that stuff also in high school.
milling, and using, metal lathes. I mean, that was freaking cool shit, man.
Hmm.
Good luck at finding a school that does that stuff now.
Huh. They do that around here.
Sound like an old fogey. I'm getting old, so Back in the day, I had to walk to school uphill both ways in the driving snow. Yeah.
With one shoe and one boot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shoe booty.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
But I don't know, man. We just lived in a screwed up world, and I'm just kind of, there's, I mean, to be honest with you, if you're not prepped by now, all these people out there, you're pretty much screwed if shit's, going the way it's going to go. And,
Right.
if you're not trying to, take action against the government overreach. And I mean, geez, we're 30 plus $1 trillion in debt now. That's
Ooh.
debt. Yeah. And, I'm sure James is going to be thinking in his mind, no, it's $150 trillion unfunded liabilities. Yeah, but it's going to be generations of tax slaves, and people just don't get it. I'm comfortable and I'm happy, and well, isn't that what the Economic Forum wants? World Economic Forum. They want you to be complacent, compliant, and just be happy and
Yeah.
not worry about anything.
But
Well,
they don't realize. They don't realize, Bill. That's only going to be temporary. Then they ain't going to be comfortable and happy.
right. Well,
They'll be shutting the power off on you.
yeah, right.
Because they can't afford to run the power plants, and you won't have any food. They all forget about. They can't see 10 minutes ahead of them.
Right, and there. I
Those
mean,
people.
Greg Allison, right? Green Greg's, Galactic Greg's.
Right.
He's a NASA contractor down there, outside of Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. But he's on the board, and I think he's the president of the power grid, some kind of power grid association, where they've been warning for years. It's only going to take one part of the grid going down to take down the whole country. Because it's all
Yep.
interconnected. And I can't. I think it was on 60 Minutes last night. I just turned on the TV and I'm like, let's see what 60 Minutes say. And they were, yeah, I don't trust 60 Minutes anymore at all. Back in the 70s,
No.
but they were talking about nobody really controls a power grid. It's like 3,000 different companies and stuff, and it's like, well, okay, that's fine, but we don't want the federal government getting in and regulating shit, because then it's going to get worse. So what's the solution
Right.
here? I mean, I'm not smart enough.
It's just like in all your videos near the end of them.
Yeah,
Government is not the solution; they're the problem.
well, that's
You
I mean,
know, and what Reagan said, and it's been in some of your videos also. What did he say about the government? The 9 words people fear the most. I'm the government, and I'm here to help.
right.
When the government
Yeah,
starts controlling everything, you're screwed.
yeah. Well,
You're at their mercy.
yeah, but it's kind of I'm kind of happy to see a lot of the younger generation actually um, not being woke. They're actually understanding what's going on. I think they're a little confused now, but they're like,
Yeah. When
especially
you're
up
in
in
the
Canada,
when the private sector when the private sector has utilities, they're held accountable. If the government has utilities, they're not held accountable. What happens?
right. Well, I mean, it's like up in we got PGU, private company, but up in just north of Portland in Clark County, where I used to live in Clark County, but they got Clark County PUD, which is run by the government, and I mean, I haven't lived in Washington since shit right before. I was living in Washington when I joined the Army, so it's been 30, 32, 33 years since I lived in Washington State. So try not to pay attention to too much that's going on in Washington, other than what's happening with their legislature and their stupid governor.
Well, it's good to keep an eye on neighboring states, what they're doing.
Anal Schwab
Swab.
needs an enema. Yeah, what a piece of work there he is. And if you guys haven't checked, I mean, I haven't checked for a couple weeks, but they put out videos on their website all the time that just explains what the frick they're doing. It's right there out in the open, man. Jeez, they're not afraid to show what they're doing.
No,
Yeah.
but some people believe it. Think it's a good thing.
But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens tomorrow. I think it's going to be pretty interesting with what Joe Biden has to say. They're probably going to give him adrenaline shot and a shot of vitamin B before he gets up there. And did you see that they took down the mask mandate in the House right before?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They did something, huh?
yeah.
I mean, how many people believe that isn't political?
Nah. No. God, I just can't. If I don't ever have to
This
look.
COVID, this COVID, this whole COVID thing for the last 2 years, that's telling you what the government's going to do to you if they run everything.
Right. Well, and
Who wants it?
they scared the shit out of the dumb people, man. Which is,
Yeah.
I'm not saying all Americans are dumb, but in my opinion, the great majority of them freaking don't even know what the hell's going on in their own country. We've
No.
talked about it before, between our group and people are just clueless, and it's like, well, that's why we've been telling you for years and years. Pay attention. Otherwise,
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm afraid of with like this trucker convoy. Everybody's like, yeah, 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 and then, okay, the states are pulling back their mask mandates and their vaccine mandates. But I mean, I saw, the the government's still going to make you wear a mask on a fucking airplane or a train. It's like,
Isn't that crazy? It's the and it's and the air is super purified.
yeah, right, yep. And they, I think it was Friday. I turned on local news at 11 o'clock to see what was going on, and of course they always lead with COVID shit. Um, and they were like, "Oh, 800. We only had 800 cases today, and hospitalizations are way down." It's like, well, then why the fuck are we still doing what we're doing? Oh yeah, Kate Brown wants her ultimate power until April 1st because if something happens, she's still got emergency powers. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like the National Defense Authorization, the Patriot Act. I mean, people don't know anything about that. I mean, that's like a 2 or 3 hour thing talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
People get it, or they're not willing to open their minds. Like these fighter pilots, I was watching today. I was checking out the chat a little bit, and people were like had cognitive dissonance. It's like, you guys, I'm unsubscribing because you guys are lying, and it's like these guys are freaking fighter pilots for 20 years. They're giving us their opinion, and you don't agree with it. Fine, leave the fucking chat. But everybody, or unsubscribe, whatever. And it's like you can't win with some people because
No.
they saw it somewhere and it's embedded in their mind, and their mind just immediately closes. It's like the Trump Russia thing that went on forever. That's just one example of it. It's like
Yeah.
they're still saying, whatever he said at CPAC, they're saying, yeah, see, Trump is actually he's still for Russia and blah. It's like, can you guys just let Trump go, man? If it wasn't for him, CNN would have had no ratings, during his presidency.
No.
That's why their ratings went to shit, MSNBC. God. And even Newsmax and Fox, Fox has been going downhill. I don't even really check too much what they're doing, but Newsmax is, they just got a bunch of talking heads up all the time, and they might
I
get a
really
good
haven't.
so a while,
I
but
really haven't watched. I really haven't watched the news since the election. I got.
well, I try to keep up on it, but some of these things,
I follow it up, but for
yeah,
like talk radio and stuff, that's where I get
yeah.
my information.
Where I get most of my intel, locally, especially with Lars and some of the other guys that broadcast on the weekends out of Salem, and of course, we get Glenn Beck replay at night, and they replay Clay
Yeah.
and Travis at night, and I mean it's I always got it on the background. Half the time I don't listen to it unless I hear something and I'm like, what did they just say? And then I'll tune in and listen to it.
regular television news is most of
Yeah.
it's all propaganda.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're well aware of that.
Right. Well, thank God my phone
no-
hasn't died.
There's no journalist out there today.
No, real journalism's died decades ago. I mean, geez.
Yep.
But anyway, what are we? Hour and 6 minutes into this. I think I'm gonna call it a night for this one, buddy.
Okay,
And
Bill.
thanks for everybody that showed up. Debbie Carson, Hex
Yeah.
Food, Mouthpiece Media, of course Scarecrow, and yeah, I think that's all we got in here tonight. So anyway, yeah, hey, take care, buddy, and stay warm, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, take care, buddy.
See you next
Take care.
time. Bye-bye.
Yep.